A very good evening to all brothers and sisters in the Dhamma. Today is 22nd August 2023. It's a Tuesday class. So we'll be, as usual, commencing our physical puja. Let us gather and we shall commence our physical puja. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. Okay, now we shall offer the rest of the item. Sadhu, 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 sadhu. Okay, you all can be seated. Okay, let us compose our mind, develop the Sada Virya, then mindfully we shall commence the Puja chanting. Namo 本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无本师释迦牟尼佛。南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨。南无观世音菩萨。南无阿弥陀佛。南无阿弥陀佛。南无阿弥陀佛。南无弥勒佛。南无弥勒佛。南无弥勒佛。南无普贤菩萨。南无普贤菩萨。南无普贤菩萨。南无地藏王菩萨。南无地藏王菩萨。南无地藏王菩萨。南无佛菩萨。南无佛菩萨。南无佛菩萨。 อะระหังสัมมาสัมพุทโธภะคะวะบุตตังภะคะวันตังอะภิวาเทมิสุขโตภะคะวะตาธัมโมธัมมังนามัสสามิสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสังฆังนามามินะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะนะโมตัสสะภะคะวะโตอะระหะโตสัมมาสัมพุทธัสสะพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิดุติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิพุทธังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิธัมมังสรณังกัจฉามิตติยมปิสังฆังสรณังกัจฉามิปานาติปาตาเวระมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิอาทินาทาเวระมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิกาเมสุมิจฉาจาระเวระมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิมุสาวาดาเวระมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิสุราเมรยามัจจาปมาตตานาเวระมณีสิกขาปะทังสมาธิยามิ Okay, y'all can be seated. Then please turn to page 3 of the chanting book. We shall continue with our Puja chanting. Padipa Puja. Ganna sarpaditena dipena tamadang sina diloka dipang sambuddhang pujayami tamonudang Ganda sambara yuttena doppena hang sugang hina pujaye pujaniyang tang puja bhajana muttamang vanna ganda guno petang etang kusuma santatin Pujayami Munindasa Siri Pada Sarorohe Pujayami Buddhang Kasumena Nena Punnena Matena Cha Hotu Mokam Pupang Milayati Yata Idang Me Kayo tata yaki vinasa bhavang adivase tuno bante paniyang parikapitang Anukampang upadaya Patigan atumuttamang Adivase tuno bante Pali parikapitang Anukampang upadaya Patigan atumuttamang Adivase tuno bante Bojanang parikapitang Anukampang upadaya Patigan hatumuttamang. Okay, now we shall chant our puja aspiration based on our understanding of the significance of all these puja offerings. Significance of offering of light. May this offering of light to the Buddha brings forth the causes and conditions to illuminate our mind and help arise the needed clarity and understanding to dispel all darkness or ignorance therein. Significance of offering of water. May this offering of pure, clear, cool water lead us to the pure, clear Dhamma that cools and doses off the fires of all defilements within our mind. Significance of offering of incense. May our morality, virtue, and understanding shine forth far and wide, just like the fragrance of this incense, which we are offering to the Blessed One, who is perfect in wisdom and virtue. Significance of offering of fruits. May this offering of fruits remind us of the Dana Parami of generosity and the fruits of our karma, so that we will diligently strive on with heedfulness to attain the path and fruition soon as possible. Significance of offering of flowers. May this constant offering of flowers to the Blessed One strengthen our faith and constantly remind us of the impermanence of this body, so that we will diligently and sincerely strive on to cultivate Sila, Samadhi, and Panya, leading to ultimate liberation, the born-free Nibbana. Making of overall aspiration. By the power of all these merits, born of these offerings, may our spiritual faculties of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya be further strengthened until they become balas or powers. And finally, sharing and transform merits to all beings. May these merits be shared by all. Oh, sorry, I read again. May these merits be shared and transferred to all beings without exception, especially to those who have the condition and affinity to receive them. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, let's pay respect to Puja. Buddhang Pujayami. Dhammang Pujayami. Sanghang Pujayami. Okay, you all can be seated and we shall continue with our puja sharing. Okay, you can just relax body and mind, maintain some form of attention. Then we shall, as usual, prepare for our half an hour awareness-based meditation view of the light, so that you can all have your development of this awareness-based meditation, half an hour. So as usual, remember the four support. relax body and mind. Then don't try to know, don't try to do anything. The second support is just maintain awareness so that you can be aware most of the time. Then third support is to stabilize this awareness or mindfulness within. This first three support is more important. After you have developed the understanding of it, the stability of it, the skill to develop it, then you can move on to the fourth support, which is trust. T-R-U-S-T means you trust your nature to continue with the meditative training or movement where there is no interference from our thought process. The mundane mind is completely off the radar. So the last support trust is more difficult to do, but it's not required initially. You only do it later when you have developed the progress and the understanding. Then it will arise naturally. When your mindfulness or sati is developed and stabilized, then this mind becomes the silent mind without thought. So this silent mind, which is the meditative mind without thought, is actually your true mind. So this is the mind that can be at the heart area. So during that time, you stay at the heart area and let it detect whatever movement or vibration around there. It can be a heartbeat or any vibration around the heart area. We call it all the pulse of life that you can detect. In fact, our whole body is full of vibration if you have the mindfulness to be aware. So initially, before you develop it, most people may not understand what awareness is or mindfulness is. But when you have developed it, stabilize it, then you will understand that that is the mind that is completely without the thinking, without the thought process, is just aware. And that nature without thought is your true mind, your silent mind, your meditative mind. And this is the one that we need to develop it, to stabilize it, so that it can help us to develop this meditative mind, to realize whatever truth that we need to realize. And this mind, because it is without thought, it is just relax, maintain awareness. Then when you stabilize this, the awareness nature within, it can see things as they are. It can insight into phenomena, and it can awaken and realize the truth. It can also have the silent mind observing all the movement and activity. Then you start to develop clear comprehension or understanding of who you are, what you are, and how you function as a human being or living being. Then you also understand what is this human being all about. The Buddha actually summarized it under the teaching as the form and mind. We have a physical form, then we have a mind trapped inside. The form is the aggregate of rupa or form. And there are two aspects. One is the physical body, the physical form. The other one is the mental form, the external form that you come to perceive through your perception aggregate of mind. Then the consciousness that is trapped inside, we can break it down into four more aggregates called mind aggregates. To understand that is very easy. We just need to inquire what can our mind do, and then the aggregates will be there. The first very obvious understanding is the mind has this ability to feel, whether it is hot or cold, whether that sensation of feeling is pleasant or unpleasant. So the ability to feel is a property of that mind, or we call it the consciousness, the mundane mind. So that is the first aggregate of mind. In Pali, the Buddha called it Vedana. Vedana. Then the second property of mind is the mind can also perceive. When we are active and conscious while living life, we can develop all the various perceptions around the six sense bases. When we see something, we can perceive what we see through the senses. So it can be color, shape, or form, external objects, external phenomena. You can perceive them. Any phenomena perceivable by the mind is a phenomena. Or we can define it as anything perceivable by the mind is a phenomena. So all of mental phenomena, you can have your perception. Even hearing, smell, taste, tactile, or thought process, thinking, thought consciousness. You can perceive them, whether it's an image or emotion, or what we call mental formation. Then your mental activity or thinking or thought process. The state of mind, we call it the mental states. Then our mental intention, then our mental reaction. It can be your selfishness, your greed, your hatred, your envy, your jealousy, your fear, your insecurity. All these are called mind states, mental states. So perception can perceive it, but everything that the mind can do, including all the mental activity that I described just now, the mental states, the mental formation, planning, scheming, everything, even mental intention. The Buddha called it sankhara, means our mind is capable of doing all those things. So sankhara to me is everything that the mind can do, including feeling and perception, is sankhara. And this one is what we call the content of consciousness. All the activity within there, all the movement within there, that form the consciousness and its content. So that content is sankhara. Then what else can our mind do apart from feeling, perception, and development of sankhara activity? It can also make us conscious. Conscious of what we see, conscious of what we hear, what we smell, what we taste, what we tactile feel and think. So this ability to be conscious is another aggregate. So the Buddha called it vijnana. So the four aggregate of mind is Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. So Vedana is feeling. Sanya is perception. Sankhara is all of your mental activity and movement, everything that your mind can do, including mental states, etc. Then the last one is Vijnana, which is the consciousness. When you are conscious, ability to be conscious. So that consciousness is actually referred to the pure consciousness, or we call it the receptacle that receive the content of consciousness. So our mind, the true mind, before the thought arise, before the aggregates of mind arise, is actually just spacious awareness. We are just the awareness nature within is just aware. But then we need to use it to live life. So to live life, we need to know things. We need to perceive things. That's why we zoom in the area where we need to know or perceive those phenomena or things. Like, for example, the Buddha Rupa and other things. So when you do that, the spacious awareness, the true mind, suddenly like shrink to a small area where you perceive something. So this shrinking of the awareness, together with the input of the content of consciousness, trigger the form and mind, or what the Buddha called the second aspect of the Namarupa, or five aggregate of form and mind. He called it the thought. So this thought process, we need to be mindful of it. Then this Namarupa is the one that has mental intention, that is capable of moral decision. So the law of karma can actually arise is because of this mental intention. So the Buddha always in his teaching say it is cetana, or the mental intention, that I call karma. So we call karma the law of moral causation. The mental intention will decide the type of karmic content, whether it's moral, immoral, or neutral. So all this you will come to understand if you have mindfulness and awareness. Then you can understand the teaching very easily when there is mindfulness. But without mindfulness, it's not easy. So this one more or less summarize a little bit of what is it that the form and mind is going through. Then from this explanation, it's easier for those who are still quite new to actually grasp what the teaching is. Then later on, after listening to all this, you read the Heart Sutta book, you will be able to understand. So in the Heart Sutta book, I explain the two aspects of the five aggregate of form and mind, or what the so-called being is. So the first one is the first aspect. As a human being, we have a physical body, we have a mind trapped inside. So the four aggregate of mind together with the physical body forms the first aspect of the five aggregate. Then the Buddha, in his first noble truth, final summary, he said, if you grasp and cling onto this five aggregate of form and mind, it will condition suffering. That's why he said, the five aggregates of grasping, the grasping aggregate, upadana khandhas, condition, suffering, or dukkha. Then there is this second aspect of the five aggregate. As we know, the mind has four aggregates: Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, and Vijnana. Then when we input the content, the perception aggregate brings the external form that we perceive into the mind. So likewise, this mental aggregate, all the five, they are inside the consciousness and its content, or we call it Namarupa. That one is also the five aggregate, the form and mind. But it is the second aspect. it is the aspect that the Buddha wants us to understand through mindfulness. So this second aspect is also five aggregate, but the form is not the physical body. The form is the external form that we bring into mind through perception. Like whatever you come to perceive through your senses. It can be a sound, a vibration, or the Buddha image, or any phenomena within nature, even the smell, the taste, the tactile, or the mental images. All this, when you perceive them, it enters the mind. That's how the five aggregate comes to be and become active. So with this explanation, I think you can develop the further understanding later. You can listen to this again and develop further understanding. Then when you read the Heart Sutta book, you will develop more clarity and understanding. Okay, now I let you meditate on your own. I will now set the timer for the half an hour awareness-based meditation. So when the half an hour is up, the alarm will be triggered off, and I will ring the bell 3 times. Upon hearing the bell, slowly, mindfully, come out of the meditation. Okay. And we will continue with our Puja chanting. Turn to page 6. We will do the invocation to the Devas so that they can also, together with us, partake in the Dhamma Sharing. Invocation to the Devas. In this universe, in their entirety, let the deities or Devas come here. Let them hear the good teachings of the King of Sages, which gives heaven and release, Nibbana. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. This is the time to listen to the teaching. Samanta Chakawalesu Atra Gacantu Devata Saddamang Munirajasa Sunantu Sakemokadang Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Padanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Padanta Dhamma Savanan Kalo Ayang Padanta Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa Iti Peso Bhagawa Arahang Samma Sambuddho Ija Charana Sampano Sugato Lokavidu Anuttaro Purisa Dhammasarati Satta Deva Manusana Buddho Bhagavati Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipaseko Opanaiko ปัจจตังเวทิตาโบปิโนหิติสุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอุชุปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆญาญาปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆสามีจิปฏิปันโนภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆยาดิดังจัตตาริปุริสโยกานิอัตตปุริสปุกาลาเอสาภะคะวะโตสาวกสังโฆอาหุเนโยปาหุเนโยดาเกเนโยอัญจาริการาเนโยอนุตตรังปุญญังเกตังโลกาสาติสาธุสาธุสาธุ Okay, you can be seated, and we will continue from where we stop. Turn to page 468. Okay. So we'll be continuing our sharing from this book, the wonderful Dhamma Lotus Flower Sutta, page 468. This is volume 3, chapter 2, Expedient Device. Commentaries by Tipitaka Master Hsuan. Hsuan. Okay. Now we are at the sutta. So, sutra. When those Buddhas have become extinct, if there are those with compliant hearts, beings such as these have attained the Buddha way. After the extinction of those Buddhas, those who have made offering to their sarira, or what we call relics, building millions of kinds of stupas, made of gold, silver, or of crystals, mother of pearl, carnelian, rose quartz, lapis, lazuli, and other gems, clear, pure, and most ornate, work to grace the stupa. Or should there be those who have built temples out of stone, chandana, or aloes wood, hovania, or other timbers, bricks, clay, and the like, or those who in a barren waste have piled up earth into a Buddha shrine, or even children who at play have piled up sand to make a stupa. All persons such as these have realized the Buddha way. Then there is this outline explaining, opening, and revealing with regards to longing and sorrow. Then the next part is explaining the opening and revealing with regards to offering made to Sharira, or the relics. Okay, we go to the commentaries. Commentaries. These are the commentaries by Master Hsuan. So when the sutta say when those Buddha have become extinct, means after they have entered nirvana, or what we call realized Parinibbana. If these are those with compliant hearts, means if they have brought forth the gentle hearts and are not headstrong, although at one first glance it may not look like they have many good roots, gradually they will pile up merits and virtue. Eventually, after some time, beings such as these have attained the Buddha way, means they have already become Buddhas. So here, I think the explanation is for cultivators of the way or the followers of the Buddha to understand that even after those Sammasambuddha, after they have realized Parinibbana, no longer around, like our sasana, is about 2,600 over years after the passing of Sakyamuni Buddha. But the teaching is still around, the sasana is still around. Then for those who have this, what they call gentle hearts, means you are not rigid, headstrong, and all those things. Although at the first glance, it may not look like you have many good roots, but don't worry, gradually they will develop the progress. Means here in whatever English that I think Shenhua, they all through the translation committee, they use the word pile up merits and virtue. Means gradually you will finally able to develop the merits and virtue required for you to eventually, after a period of cultivation, become beings such as this. Beings such as this, they would have attained the Buddha way. So they have also become Sammasambuddha. So have faith. All these are still possible. Then the next part of the sutta says, after the extinction of those Buddha, those who have made offering to their relics or sharira, means those who have built stupa or pagoda to contain the relics of the Buddha, so that offerings can be made to them. If we were to recall in the teachings, the Buddha always mentioned there are 4 objects of veneration where we must pay respect or develop veneration when we see them. So what are the 4? We always have it in our chanting book. Vandami chetiyam sabbam sabbatanisu patitetang saririke datu mahabohim buddha rupang sakalang sada. So this one is the 4 objects of veneration that we should actually pay respect to or venerate them. So Vandami is to pay respect, to venerate. Chetya, the first one, Chetya, is after the passing away of enlightened beings or great beings. Most people, if they have the understanding, they will start what they call project to help build the stupa, to house the relics. Yeah, these are very special, what they call relics. All these are spiritual wisdom energy relics. born of cultivators of the way who have developed the enlightenment and the understanding. So when they are alive as a living being, as a human being, like any cultivator of the way, just like we all Kalimittas or cultivators of the way. Our physical body, they are all the time together with our mind in perfect harmony and synchrony, enable us to develop the cultivation, to live life, and to make use of it to do whatever work that we need to do while we are in this existential world. So as we grew up from the newborn until we become maybe adults, then in between we also develop the cultivation. Then as we progress in our cultivation, we will develop some form of awakening. Then when we develop those awakening and wisdom, our nature becomes different. Our inner nature, especially those who do the Bodhisattva way, they cultivate the Bodhisattva way, then they are able to develop the cultivation until they realize their true mind, locate their gateway, then connect to their gateway. Then this nature become different, transform itself. And because of this wisdom, virtue, and all the wholesomeness that this form and mind has actually realized, then it will develop into pure energy, that wisdom energy. Throughout the day and night, while they are using this form and mind, this energy is inside there. And because of that, the physical part, they will become like very different. So that when that being pass away, or we call, they use the word enter nirvana. Actually, it's another way of describing the parinibbana. When they realize nibbana means towards the final stage, when they decide to leave this existential world, then they will go into cessation. Then after that, the form and mind cannot come out again and become a living being again, because parinibbana is the ending of the being or cultivator who has developed the realization and awakening. So when you develop the enlightenment and the awakening, if you are not supposed to realize the parinibbana, then you will realize nibbana. When you realize nibbana, sometimes a glimpse enough, good enough, then the sainthood way is possible. Then for those who go the higher training, the bodhisattva, those who walk the bodhisattva way or cultivate the bodhisattva way, they will realize the more prolonged and more stable type of realization of nibbana. For that type of beings, when they realize nibbana, there is not time for them to go parinibbana. So what happens is that cessation will happen for a specific period of time. When they come out, actually they cannot decide. That nature will decide. Then when they come out, the form and mind is like come into existence again. So actually the realization of Nibbana is a realization of the cessation of form and mind. I still remember when it happened during the early years, especially after 1989. The mind that realized Nibbana completely ceased. Even the pure awareness also no more. Completely ceased. Yeah. Then you cannot talk about it, you cannot describe it, but the being that goes in will understand how it happened, how all these are possible, the causes and conditions for it to arise and manifest, then how the cessation happened. When it happened, then how finally when it come out, at the moment when it come out, it's like showing to you how life comes to be, how the form and mind actually arise from that nature. Because when we are born into this world as a fetus or a newborn fetus, that time you don't know anything. You got no knowledge, nothing. Karmically you're conditioned, then the rebirth consciousness, then the sperm and the ovum, they develop. So during that time, you cannot see, you cannot understand, where you are not in the position to understand. But as you grow up, develop the cultivation, realize the enlightenment, then go through this Nibbana experience, then when you have the parami to develop the understanding, when you come out of this cessation, it is the most beautiful. That's why at that time you can see how your nature, from that nature, the first thing to come out is the pure awareness. The pure awareness. Yeah. Then after that, the three area of consciousness, they will come back to you. Then they will split. One will stay at the heart area. Then the other one goes to the brain. I remember the brain there. Then the other one is the Dantian there. Then it starts to animate the form and mind into a living being. Yeah. So I remember at the brain there, before it starts, the whole brain like dead, no activity, nothing one. But you are not dead. There is no breathing, nothing. No heartbeat, nothing. It's like a dead man, except there is warm. It doesn't become like the dead body, very cold, very still, and all that. No. Then what happened is, when this, what they call life force, come back, then it animates it into a living being. Then the three area of consciousness split. Then the first arising of that consciousness is very beautiful. The whole brain, like a dynamo, starts to operate again. You can see it zoom, like then that sankara activity, the noise. But initially it's very like slow motion for you to see. Then how the senses receive sense data, also you will see. You become like very different. You completely transform until the awareness nature, the awareness stability, the mindfulness inside is so stable, so clear. It can observe and see all this. Then how, when the sense data slowly coming in, actually it's not really slow, but because of your mindfulness, you see it like it's slow, like in slow motion for you to see, but actually everything is just the way it is. But because your mindfulness is so stable, it has this ability that it will like, no, everything is going to start already. Then you can see how you function as a human being, paticca samuppada, all those things, how the sense data together with the mind upon contact, how consciousness arises. Then when the consciousness arises, how the brain, the memory starts to want to input the content and all those things. Then initially it's like the process is slow down, slow motion for you to see, for you to understand. I remember that time I was in Cameron Highlands, Sampo Temple. I was coming down after the 5 days retreat. I went into the cessation. Then when I came out, I was completely still, completely different, transformed. Then I remember I didn't talk. I completely, that nature, don't want to talk. Then there is a lot of understanding, a lot of joy, a lot of radiant smile and metta. But equanimous nature inside there, very beautiful. Then all the sense data, how they come in. I remember I was on a bus coming down. We all went up with a bus. I was sitting in front. Then the sense data come. Then you know, from there on, the senses, how it function, how it operate. That's why I saw the whole thing. With mindfulness, this is possible. You can see clearly how you function as a human being, how the paticca samuppada come to be, how you actually finally become a living being again, or in our case, it's a human being. That's how we come back to life, to existence. So all these are possible. But later on, when your so-called karmic life force and all the other, what they call condition, already set, like you need to go. You have to go to parinibbana after that. That one is the final cessation for that form and mind. Once you go through that parinibbana, it just ceases. Then the whole nature gone, no more. But that being, because of that awakening, enlightenment, and all things, and the pure energy that is with that form and mind for so many years, depending on how many years of enlightenment and all things, it will transform the bones and all those whatever crystal inside to become relics. That's why when they cremate this physical body, if you know how to do it, don't overburn it or whatever, then you will be able to actually collect. I use the word collect from the ash that they go through the cremation. A lot of relics inside there. And this is what the Buddha calls saririka. Oh, sorry, sarira, or we call it relics. So in the Pali chanting, we chant Vandami Chetiyang Sabbam in Chetiya. Then Saririka Datu Mahabodhi means the Bodhi tree. Buddha Rupang Sakalang Sada. And also the Buddha Rupang. So these 4 objects of veneration, the Chetiya, the relics, the Bodhi tree, and lastly is this, just I mentioned, what is it already? I go through again. Vandami Chetiya, Sabbam, Sabbatanisu Patititang, Saririke, relics, Dhatu, Mahabodhi, Buddha image, the last one is Buddha Rupang, Sakalang Sada. Wherever you see these 4 objects of veneration, if you are a cultivator with the understanding, you will pay respect, develop the veneration to recall to mind the Buddha's wisdom, virtue, and great teachings. Yeah. And all these four objects of veneration can bring forth the faith, then can also support you to develop the spiritual faculty of Saddha, Virya, Sati, Samadhi, and Panya. That's why they are very beautiful. Then the energy that emit from the Chaitya or the relics, this wisdom energy, you are the cultivator of the way. They are ever radiating for the cultivator of the way. That's why their nature, they are still there. So those who have affinity, you can draw from it. You can actually receive all this. Yeah. But when they are around with the form and mind, it's the nature together with the form and mind that has the vibration inside there. At that time, that force is different. It's very, very much more potent. That one, when you are around them, that's why during the Buddha's time, a lot of the disciples, cultivator of the way, who have affinity, they can actually feel his energy, his vibration, his nature, everything. So you will draw. The ability to draw, how much you draw, depends on your cultivation. If your cultivation is limited, there is not much you can draw. But this nature is very strange. The more people draw, living being draw, cultivator of the way draw, it never get depleted. It becomes stronger and stronger, especially when they are sharing the Dhamma, when they are radiating all this, what they call virtue, or what they call beautiful mind state. Yeah. Wherever they go, all this, they will radiate. Yeah. Because this is not only their nature, this, they come as a physical being. In that case, it's a Sammasambuddha. So that so-called relics within the physical is very different. That's why they actually come out with all this understanding for people to make use of it to develop the faith, the cultivation, and to draw support for your cultivation. So these are the I should call it these are explained and taught by the Buddha during his time. That's why in this sutta is also mentioned. We go back to the sutta, I read on, then you will develop the understanding. You see, it's mentioned even after the extinction of those Sammasambuddha, after they have realized Parinibbana. Those who have made offerings to the relics. That's why whenever you go spiritual trip, when you travel, even Sambo Temple, there are a lot of relics up there. Then the great beings' nature, they are all there. Then I remember in the early years, that time, 1989, yeah, when that thing happened to me. Before that, that abbot, I think the third one, or I think if I'm not wrong, it's the third one. I don't know what happened. Very strange. When I was there developing the retreat, 5 days, he can sense my nature too. And he full of joy. He always smiled to me. Then when I was at the hilltop there, remember where I took your armor from the kitchen at the back, go up to the hilltop there, where we do the reflection and all those things. contemplation and all things. At that time when I was there, 1989, the new buildings, the stupa, not there yet. It was just a very old building, and very few people like to go there. But my nature was so strange when I was going through that transformation. I went up there, I was radiating metta, then developing the contemplation, then meditating. He was actually at almost the top floor there. Yeah. I think he saw, he can feel, he came out, he looked at me, then he smiled, then I radiate back, then I also rejoice and smile. Then after that, when I came down, on the way down, I met him. Then he smiled to me and I pay respect. Then he asked, you interested or not? He said, to go up and see the relics. I was full of surprise. I said, what relics is it? Up there, he said, his teacher one, he said. Yeah. Then later on, Hsuan also, the relic also there. Then the one after him also, they kept there. So now they enshrine it onto the two stupa in front of the Sampo temple. You remember when they built that one? We were given the opportunity to make offering. Actually, the bulk of it come from our offering. So it so happened we were there. Then Deng Xiong Sifu told us. Then we said, yeah, we will raise the money. And we use Kayamita's money and make offerings. And that one was the most beautiful. That's why at that time I rejoiced. That's why the Kayamita force at that time was different. So not only every retreat we go there, we pay respect and all those things, we make offering. Then we contributed towards the project, the building of the stupa, the enshrining of the relics and all those things. It seems from the top floor where they have all those relics, I think they somehow transfer it down. So these are the conditions that arise. That's why our affinity with Sampo Temple is very unique, very special. And even last year, August, the special invitation for us to have a silent retreat limited to 20 yogi was also a very special one because they don't allow anybody to have retreat up there that time. So because of our affinity and support and condition, the Tangjia allow us to have it. Also, they want to know how it will be like because the COVID still around at that time. So our day retreat was relatively very successful. That's why it gave them faith, and we did it very well. Then after that, this year, at first we don't know whether there will be any or not. But somehow we were lucky. We were told, if you want to have it, let them have the date, then they will try to confirm it. So I think last month we submitted the date, end of October, the second half of October this year. And they approve it. That's why we were full of joy. And because of that, we are going to have this retreat. And this retreat is very beautiful, very important. And for those who can have the condition to make it, you better come. And a lot of things can happen. You have the faith, the sincerity, then you develop the diligence, the perseverance to just cultivate and develop the progress. A lot of things will happen. So this is just to let Kayamita know that the way the Kayamita Fund has been tailored since the beginning when I decided to come out to share in the year 2004 until now. It has actually contributed a lot to help develop the Kayamita force for Kayamitas to progress along the path of Dhamma and develop a lot of wholesomeness. Okay, we go back to the sharing. We have to speed up a bit, otherwise, almost 9:40 already. Okay, okay, I will read on. So I will go through this statement again of the sutta, then you understand. After the extinction of those Samasa Buddha, those who have made offerings to the Sharira or relics. So we actually make offerings. Of course, during the spiritual trip, we also make offerings. And we also chant at a lot of stupa area, wherever there is this relics. Most of the stupa or chetia where you visit, there are relics down there. Even in China, where we went for the spiritual trip, a lot of stupa. And we chant the Vandami Chetia, Sabbam and all those things. Then we sometimes also chant the Heart Sutra, the great compassion mantra and all those things. So all these are very wholesome, very joyful, meaningful. So if you have condition and opportunity to make offering and pay your respect to all these relics, stupa, of course, Buddha Rupa everywhere we have in our shrine or in all the temples. We also have our veneration or respect. Then the Bodhi tree, because it's to recall to mind how it helped our original Namo Pen Si Si Jia Moni Fo, means Sakyamuni Buddha, to realize enlightenment of the Samasa Buddhahood underneath there. So these are the 4 objects of veneration that we should pay veneration or respect. So I read the whole thing again. After the extinction of all those Samasa Buddha, those who have made offerings to the relics, those who have built, we contribute to build the Chetia, the stupa, and the pagoda, to contain the relics of the Buddha, so that the offering can be made to them. Then there are a lot of Buddhists who have built millions of various kinds of stupas. Stupa to hold the relics of the Buddha. Well, this one is very high. He mentioned here, should be 13-story high, but it can be a miniature, not necessarily the actual size. I think the Sambao Si one is a miniature. Stupa for Pajeka Buddha should be 5-story high. This one they got the different type of recommended story height. And stupa of those of the 4th stage of sainthood or arahantaship should be 4-story. Then stupa of 3rd stage arahat or anagami should be 3-story. Then sakadagami 2-story, and sotapanna shape 1-story. So this one is their guideline from宣化. Then I read on. What are the stupa made out of? So they can be made out of all these, what they call metal, which are very rare, very unique and special, because this stupa, when they have this type of material, especially gold, silver, or of crystal, mother of pearl, carnelian, rose quartz, lapis lazuli, and other gems, clear, pure, and most ornate, work to grace, means very fine craftsmanship. The stupa means the gems are intertwined and hang in chain around the top of the stupa. So normally they enshrine it and bathe it and all things. So more important is for your understanding. All this stupa or even the Buddha Rupang, the reason why we have it in this type of metal or crystal is because this type of metal and crystal, they can retain that pure energy within the vicinity of that stupa. The great beings' nature's energy, their relics and all things. So all this can retain their vibration and energy. That's why in the temple, if you have the Buddha Rupang, if you have all the devotee doing the chanting, the meditation, the respect, everything, because of the crystal, they will be able to store those energy. And most of this Rupang or stupa, they have their own energy. But the most common one is, of course, the Buddha Rupang, the Buddha images, especially the big ones. Even the one in SJBA, that time I went there, I can feel the energy inside also very strong. But mostly the other type of energy, the faith and the what they call thought-based energy. But there are also some quite fine vibration too. But the stupa one is different. The stupa one is the energy are very fine. These are wisdom energy, the nature's energy, and they are very different. Then, of course, wherever we have our sharing, even at my house, the stupa came by themselves. All these so-called the great beings, stupa or and not stupa, energy, they came by themselves. They were offered to me and at the house. Then there is also this what they call very tiny stupa. Not really stupa. It look like a chetiya. Chetiya. I think you can buy it on. So also people offer to me. Then they also offer to me some of the so-called relics. So I just put it on the altar there. And because our Tuesday class, and whenever Kaimita come, when we have our session, our sharing, so all this actually build up. So that's why when you come to my house, you meditate is different. A lot of Kaimita told me, but when I do it at home, I cannot get that type of condition. But here, very easy to settle down. You sit on here, you become like very different. Then you settle down and the nature come in. And they can meditate very well when they are here. So all these are because of causes and conditions. When you understand, all these are possible. Okay, so now we go back to the notes. I had to stop here already. Almost 9:50 already. Okay, I read a bit more. One more paragraph, then we finish. Or should there be those who have built temples out of stone? So no need crystal also can. Your faith, your sincerity. So this one is also very important. Even if you build it out of stone or chandana or aloes wood or veneer or other timber or basic bricks, clay and the like. Or those who in the barren ways means poor area where they can't find much of this building material, they have piled up earth into a Buddha shrine, or even children who have piled up sand to make a stupa. All people such as these, they will have the causes and condition to finally realize the Buddha way. So all of these different kind of people, they all have accumulated a vast amount of merits and virtue, and they are all in future, they can become Sama Sambuddha. So you look at the parami, yeah, of those who have the causes and condition to be a part of all this. So this is the sutta that explain all this. That's why the four objects of veneration, especially the chaitya, or the stupa, and the relics inside there. Of course, the Buddha Rupang also, it has its significance and all those things. But most Buddha Rupang is because that crystal, they put the Rupang there, that is a place of worship, a place of spiritual activity where they have their, like our normal temple, they have their Sunday class, their Dhamma talk, their meditation retreat or whatever. Then their katina or whatever the activity. But that one is mostly the faith energy and the what they call thought-based cultivation energy. But of course, off and on, you will have cultivator of the way who go there and pay respect. So their wisdom energy also will go in, their nature's energy also will go in. So they collect over years, long period. Then those who have the sensitivity of mindfulness and awareness to feel it, they can feel it. And they are very strong, very strong. So this will cover that part of the sutta dealing with the four objects of veneration. Mainly in this particular case is the relics and the stupa, or we call it the Jetiya in Pali terms. And in China, we sometimes call it the pagoda. Okay, so with this, we will end. I mark this page. Okay. We are at page 470. So now we will break for toilet break, 3 minutes. We will come back 4:57. Now is, oh sorry, 9:57. Now is 9:54. Okay. Okay, now we shall continue with our second session, which is meditation reporting, followed by whatever question you may have, Q&A session, question and answer session. So the question can be anything related to the meditation or the teaching or how to apply this teaching so that you can develop the understanding of life, Dharma in daily life. Okay. Online there are 6 of them. Alicia, Andrea, Manuel, PG, Pocheng, and the host. And here, physical class, we have Elsie, Hui Rong, my wife, Pocheng, Jin Hao, Pao Lian, Sis Poh Lian. So we also have, including me, 7. So anybody wants to come in and report the meditation, you can just come in. Or those physically present, you can raise your hand. We'll pass you the mic. Anybody? The last time was Manyan, the sharing, I remember. So Manyan, can you nominate somebody again?
Hi, Brother.
Yeah, yes.
Can we request Poh Lian?
Sis Poh Lian. Wow, you're a good friend, Sis Poh Lian. Manyan like you.
Good evening, Brother Teo, Mr. Tian. Kamitas.
Yeah.
Manyan. Maybe I just share. Brother Teo, you always say, as long as you are not enlightened, or your virtue or your thought are, how to say, not pure lah.
Yeah.
Any merits, you do any good deed also behind.
Means tinted, not to say don't have God, but tinted means not pure merits. So to the enlightened being like Bodhidharma and all those things, when they talk about merits, they talk about true merits, means pure merits, born of the enlightened being who had the understanding. Means no more tinted merits that has the subtle greed, hatred, delusion behind. So what is your question? Yeah.
So actually, Brother, before I learned Buddhism, we actually, how we say, these things like Hokkien call be cut, or Cantonese call tai tat, is many times I am not aware.
Yeah.
So I can understand. Recently, I talked to a Christian friend. So we always believe generally we are good people, right?
Yeah.
So I told him, I said we are actually talking about something like this. He said, "Oh, I'm a good person." So we don't kill, we don't, generally.
Yeah. They also keep their commandments.
So I said, actually, the tiny one, when I say taita, all these things, ill will is not really very tiny yet in Buddhism. I say these are generally people not aware.
Yeah, not aware. Yeah, these are gross defilement already. Yeah,
But
you already posong. There's this aversion inside, dislike already. And all this thing.
Just like brother say, if the parent they see the neighbor children's all working very well, very this is an example. So a few years back, I talked to a Christian lady. So I told her about this ill will and aversion. But to my surprise, she said she always, when she heard of somebody, any good thing happened to them, she always cherish for them, you know. Like just we say sadhu.
Yeah, they rejoice. They also rejoice.
She say by nature. So I that one I say, oh, because it's a yoga friends many years ago. So I say, oh, very good people, even exposure to Buddhism. Nature in this. They are by nature in this.
Yeah, because in the past they have been like that before, but most of these beings, if they don't have the cultivation, they don't have the wisdom and the understanding, they are only like that because the past conditioned them to be like that. But when they live life, when they confront life, they can be affected on because inside no wisdom. Not to say completely without wisdom, they don't have that direct seeing born of the true mind or the silent mind or the pure awareness. When you don't have that type of ability to see and awaken, the wisdom cannot go in on. So what they do are what they call commonly cultivated goodness that most religion teach. They will teach you to do good. Then of course the Buddhist is slightly different. He say avoid all evil first. And that one very important. If you cannot avoid all evil, means whatever you do, actually no meaning. You are good according to you. The evil roots are there behind. You cannot see. You are not mindful. And you don't know what constitutes evil. So that's why different teaching, they teach differently. But other religion, they have their strong point too. Like, take for example, Christianity. They have this teaching of Jesus' love, the embodiment of Jesus' love and Jesus' great compassion. And of course, they have their own Christian approach to all this. They have this what they call actually they have their own explanation, which is if you really go into it, it's quite convincing and quite like beautiful in the sense that it can really draw the devotee and make them believe and have the faith and all those things. Yes, they talk about, of course, they have this hell, eternal hell. Then they also have angel. Then they also have fallen angel, like Lucifer and all that. And they got a lot of fallen angel and angel inside their cosmology or what they call their teaching. Then they also have this understanding of what they call the eternal hell, condemned to eternal hell. Yeah, I was watching this video on Lucifer. It's quite interesting actually. It's mentioned this hell are mind make, like the Buddhist teaching, created by the living being themselves. So what happens is you commit a lot of this evil, then like they say, if you don't have the faith, you don't believe and all those things, then you are condemned to eternal hell. So the eternal hell is, they call it the hell loop. You know what is a hell loop or not? It seems after you die already, you're born in the hell. They believe this hell loop, you repeat your that type of life, which is evil one. It's like keep on repeating. You every time gonna kill and do the same mistake and all those things. And it's like eternally in hell. You suffer a lot. And they really have fear. That's why they dare not go down there. and it seems Lucifer, because he wanted to rebel against the king, the father in the heaven, and he finally, of course, he lost. Then he was like condemned to hell, like a fallen angel. But the father, which is the God, according to that story, very good. Make him the king of hell. He jaga all the that. He said he's supposed to be like down there and do all the evil thing and punishment. He said no, he didn't do anything. He said all this he realized are their own. We call karma, karmic. It's your own doing. He said, where you act like that, you become evil. Then this hell look manifest and keep on repeating on. Until you got a lot of fear and all those things. Then their angel also like immortal one. But sometimes certain condition they can also die on. They can also be injured on. They got a lot. Then they got demons, they got monster. A lot. So they have this type of teaching and story. Then the goodness, of course, is they always say God have a reason for everything. Then you read their Bible, the quote, or like give you a lot of inspiration, a lot of faith and all those things. Which in a way, if you have faith and adopt it, that faith will manifest and actually give rise to all the goodness and all the. But all these are based on what they call the belief, and it's not based on cultivation where you awaken and all those things. So that faith actually can bring forth the good mind. But when you are tempted, they use the word tempted. Tempted by the evil and all those things, the demons and all those things. So when you are tempted, just like the Adam and Eve, the fruit they give rise to the fruit, the knowledge of good and evil, the Adam's apple and all. So they got all this analogy and all those things, and it's in their so-called cosmology teaching and all those things. So if you read through that one, then you will understand why when they have the faith, when they keep their commandments, they will have the good life. Then they have the faith and believe that they will be with the kingdom of God, or after they die or what, they will be born in heaven. They will escape the eternal hell loop and all those things. So all this, they actually base it on their teaching to develop the faith. That's why I say the world has evolved so many of these teaching, the beliefs and all those things. So it's not a question of which one is true, which one is not true. It's the question of how you understand it. If you understand it deep enough, profound enough, then you will come to understand a different aspect of existence, life, and all things. So far, I look at all this, then I look at the teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha said, no need to believe in anything. Heaven and hell can be experienced while you are alive in this world. You don't have to wait till you die to experience hell or whatever. It's your mind state and all things. So it depends on the understanding. So what I'm trying to explain to you all is, if you are not enlightened yet, like I always quote or mention, it's very difficult for you to develop the pure good, understand? The pure virtue. That's why I always use this quote in the unique quote. To have true virtue, pure virtue, you must have wisdom. Without wisdom, there is no true virtue or pure virtue. So whatever good or virtue that you believe you have is good according to the individual, understand? Because your whole entire existence or life is based on what? Your accumulated views, opinion, belief system. your conditioning. This is what molds you as an individual. So if you have not developed the awareness-based meditation to awaken, to realize the wisdom and the understanding, then you will be caught in the delusion, caught in the sakkayaditthi or wrong view that will condition you to be egoic and develop the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion. And this cycle of birth and death, you cannot escape unless you can liberate from that sakkayaditthi, which is mainly self-delusion. Once you root that one out, then there is a possibility of realizing at least the first stage of sainthood. That's why the 10 fetters, the first one is to break sakkayaditthi, self-delusion. Yeah. Then after that, the next 2 fetters, means attachment to rite and ritual. Yeah, will no more be there. Because once you break free from sakkayaditthi, you know this form and mind is not you, not a permanent and changing entity. And you will not attach and cling and grasp and worry about this. Die already, what happened? Yeah, you go to hell or you go to you will not be deluded in that way. But this form and mind is not you. But it's karmically conditioned out for you to come to this existential, to live life, to cultivate, to pay back your karma, or to whatever. That if you don't take care of karma, because this one, the form of mind, is subject to karma, that karma has its power over you. Then you are born of your karma, heir to your karma, conditioned and supported by your karma. And you are what you are because of your karma. So this is what the nature's law is. If you don't understand this, you will be trapped. You will be entangled. You will be caught in that loop. Sometimes they call it the hell loop. It's like samsara, you keep on going around. But they don't believe in rebirth. They only believe in their version of the story. So it's not a matter of who is right or who is wrong. Ultimately, it's the individual's understanding. Because like the Buddha said, we don't have to believe anything. We have the potential to realize all this understanding. The only thing you need to develop is the ability to connect back to your true mind, your silent mind. Like Hui Ning's first hallmark. Can you be in the state of no thought, 无念的境界? When you are able to be in the state of no thought, means in your pure awareness, in sati, within that true nature or true mind, then you can understand the difference between the mundane mind and the true mind. Then how the mundane mind can develop the direct seeing and the awakening and the understanding of all this manifestation of the mundane mind, born of the evil roots of greed, hatred, and delusion, especially delusion, sakkayaditthi, self-delusion, and how ignorant avijja condition all those mental activity and movement, avijja paccaya sankhara, and how you get yourself entangled. So this one can only be seen or realized through a silent nature's observation of truth, of reality, of nature, of all phenomena that arise and pass away. Then through that observation, direct seeing and awakening, that wisdom that is developed can allow you to straighten your view, not to be deluded, not to be like deceived by the phenomenal world of consciousness and form, not to be drawn into all these illusionary existential phenomena. So through this, you break free and realize the cessation, which is the enlightenment in the here and the now, which is beyond thought, beyond mind. So to realize that state, which is beyond thought, beyond mind, is very important. That's why this teaching is very different, very ultimate, and no need to believe anything. You can investigate into it, you can develop the understanding of it like any human being, provided you have a guide or a teacher that has that ability to guide you and teach you. Actually, it's quite easy. That's why I tell you, the last few years has been most beautiful. Not only I can do, a lot of Kayamita also can do. So all these are possible. It's not that, wow, you must have your special past, special cultivation, then this life you come, only you can have the ability. No, not necessary. But one thing I did highlight is, because this is the sasana, so all of you can be born during the sasana with such condition. You are unique. You are not normal. You have your affinity, the triple gem. You have your nature. So make full use of it. This window is very beautiful. This golden window of opportunity, the sasana, where you can really develop the understanding and break free. Okay? Understand? Hope this will help you.
Sadhu, Raju.
Sadhu,
Talking about this very fine thoughts, all those I also recently have this experience that normally some of the decision that I make in my daily life, I can take time to make decision. Not like Bratio, when you want to see children, when you see a children in the swimming pool, you jump in, that type of. But I actually recently have one that I have to make decision of yes or no. So I don't know why that incidents I can aware of my thoughts. I think there are 4 reasons jumping out one by one and to
not bad, huh? Now more aware already. Yeah.
Actually, it was in Sabah itself.
Yeah. So our trip there.
So the first thought is not so what I'm having a conversation about myself of what I feel on that spot. So then I go into the second one, I think. Then I go into the third one. The third one frightened me. Because the third one, I never thought I'll be that type of person. Like I say, we are not aware. And then the third one coming out, then actually on the spot also, later on, just a short while later, I reflect back and say, oh, I can have that type of thoughts. That not under that circumstances, it won't go out. I won't see that I actually have that type of tendency on ego. Then the last one that actually pushed me for the decision was better. I'm looking at the overall conditions. So I immediately make a decision. So the incident is like I can see 4 thoughts after one another very fast. Based on this, because on the spot within a few seconds.
Yeah. You will manifest.
I will say, wow, very fast, and I still can recall the thoughts.
Yeah, but what did you learn from all this?
I see like when we have certain thoughts that we thought we are very good. Ego, the thing is, not under circumstance. Sometimes it come up maybe like in normal day, we do things actually like I treat you very well. You are my good friend because you are something attracting me. So it's not so pure of so this type of things like I treat you very well, you are my friend, all this in normal life I can't see, but in that incidents I can see it's coming up, and then I say wow, very it's like you have like intention, which is I call it.
Yeah. So what you have brought out is a good example. You saw the 4 type of thought which are very different and very fast they appear. But do you realize, that's why I asked, what do you learn from it? You are still trapped in thought, understand not? The reasoning, the analysis, which is better, and other things. The third one is frightening. First one not so good. Second one, then the last one you make the decision. Do you know all these are still from your memory? Your conditioning. your belief system, your whatever so-called understanding in inverted comma. Understand? That this is not wisdom. When you have wisdom, you don't go to the brain and think. Understand? Yoniso manasikara is spontaneous from the nature it arises. So what you should understand is the moment you saw all these four thoughts, the Yoniso manasikara should arise. Sabbe sankara anicang, sabbe sankara dukkang. All this thinking is impermanent. They come and go, no reality. And because they are impermanent, they bring about suffering. That's why there is fear, there is like and dislike, duality, everything. So how to transcend all this? You must not act according to that. You must act according to Dhamma way, the understanding, to understand that these are all still Sankara activity, thought. Understand? With mental intention, conditioned by your egoic mind, understand? To do or not to do, understand? Whereas the spontaneous one that arises is understanding. I act according to wisdom. When there is condition to act, I act. When there is no condition, just let things be. Understand? Means I arise noble eightfold power factor. Right view to observe. If there are causes and conditions, apart from, of course, karmic, where everything is mostly karmic, but sometimes within that karmic, there are causes and conditions where you will see the sign and you understand that when there is condition to act, I will act. Understand? But when there is no condition to act, I just let things be. Understand? Then the understanding is all this got no reality on. He know you, he know me. That's why that right duty is according to the law of karma. Yet this form and mind is subject to karma. Understand? It has its what they call karmic entanglement. So you do your duty. Duty means what? What is appropriate? No evil roots. So based on right view, you understand it's karmic. Then if there is no condition, no need to act, no need to do anything. But when there is condition, you will act. Then when there is condition to act, you act according to noble eightfold path. I mean, right view will condition the right thought, the sincere thought, the wholesome thought. If you feel you have the condition, the understanding, and you can help and be of use, then you manifest. Then right thought, like your love, your compassion, your kindness, your generosity, your whatever wholesomeness or virtue, from there, you will approach and talk to them nicely. Understand? Right speech will follow. Right action will follow. How are you? Can I help you? Are you in trouble? But nowadays, society, you must know a lot of con men around, a lot of scam around. So don't be a good-hearted fool. Understand? That's why you must have that nature to sense it, to understand that if there is condition to help, you will help. So what you are going through is a slight improvement over the old. Where the old, you completely not aware. You just follow whatever thought that come and have power over you, condition you into open activity. Like I say, if you were to meditate through the third way and the fourth way, you will come to understand that all these four types of what they call mind state or mental intention or thought conditioning that manifest, they are all not evil, understand or not? Like the third one, you say, oh, I can be so evil, my personality. Where got such thing? They are dependent originating. Wrong view, condition, that fear, the evil, so-called evil, understand or not? And they manifest because of your karmic conditioning, understand or not? When you've been holding on to all these things, you don't have clarity of understanding. Your yoniso manasikara are not there. That's why this type of thought manifests. Understand? That's why you must stabilize your sati, mindfulness, awareness. Until you go beyond just to see all this. To see all this is slight improvement, but it's still not the real sati yet that can give rise to understanding, awakening, straightening of your view that allow you to become different. So when you have the understanding of all this Dhamma that I explained, got condition, got affinity, right? Then you know how to act. Understand? You are not going to think, oh, like that, how, like that, how, or different way of acting. That is, I always tell Brother Song, analysis. You try to analyze. You try to reason. Should I do this or should I not do this? Should I help or should I not help? Should I go or should I not go? That's why Krishnamurti is very wise. He said, wherever there is a decision where you have to make a decision, there is delusion, ignorance. Because when you act, you don't reason. Understand? So this wisdom is very important. Krishnamurti phrased it very well and very nicely. He said, there is choice. He used the word choice. When you have to make a decision, means a choice. Means there is delusion, ignorance. Means you cannot act based on that. I don't know what word he used really. Wherever there is choice, there's another word at the back. I forgot already. Yeah. It's like if there is choice, there is ignorance. But the actual word I forgot already. Last time I used to share with you all. Why must you choose? Understand? But you all cannot accept one. Because you say in life, you must make decision, ma. Not only option, you must make decision, ma. If you don't make decision, then how? The thing, you managed to recall?
Wherever there's choices, there's no wisdom.
It's similar to that, but there's a word. I forgot the word. Wherever there choice. Never mind. Let it come out one day. It is about choice. Who make choice? The deluded mind with ignorance have to decide. Understand? Because thing is just the way it is, like the Buddha say. Understand? Condition like that, things will be like that. What is there to decide? All right, no wrong. People are just the way they are. Understand? But when we act, then after that, that decision is not a choice. You understand? Because we act according to understanding the Dhamma way. Like we see something happen to us, then we know there are causes and conditions behind, very likely karma. So when I know it's karma, I act. I do what I have to do. Means what? No more fear. No more worry. No more blaming people. Understand? All these are nonsense. Understand? That's why the thought will condition you. The image gone. Will condition you to have this remorse and all those things. Understand? To have all the various type of mind state. But that is not action. Understand? True action is when you understand there are causes and conditions, which is karma. So I do what I have to do. I need to ask for forgiveness. I ask for forgiveness. I no need to worry about that problem. Understand? I no need to panic. Understand? I no need to develop all the unnecessary fear, worry, anxiety, which will not help me. Understand? So this is how you act. Act according to wisdom. When I know there are causes and conditions behind, and most likely it's karma, where the Buddha said we are all born or karma add or karma conditions. We are what we are because karma. So if it's karmic, I do what I have to do. Need to ask for forgiveness, I ask for forgiveness. Then I tell myself, this is nature. what is the reality. Condition like that, things will be like, cannot be otherwise. So I don't have to choose. Then I ask myself, what actually happened? And then through your clarity, understanding, you reflect, you contemplate. Like, let's say, take for example, disease, sickness. There is this specialist, the doctor, that do a test or biopsy or what, then confirm it's cancer or what. So the moment you hear it's cancer, you panic, you react, and become like topsy-turvy, full of fear, worry, and this is not the way to act. Understand now? You have to accept the reality first. Acceptance will free you. Your mind become calm, composed, with clarity. So, okay, if that is the case, if it's coming, in the past, I must have done something that conditioned all this type of suffering. Maybe you are also one of the bogus doctors that do all this nonsense and create fear for people. So now you become the victim. Understand? So when you understand all this, you do not react, you do not blame the doctor, you do not do anything that is foolish, that is deluded. You do what you have to do. So need to ask for forgiveness, ask for forgiveness. Need to seek second opinion, seek second opinion. Understand? Need to ask around for people who have experience that recover from it to look for a better or more reliable type of doctor or specialist or professional. You do what you have to do. Understand? Then for us, Buddhist cultivator, we already know the 3 ways to overcome all these things. First, ask for forgiveness. Then follow the advice of the Buddha to avoid all evil, do good, purify the mind, to develop the virtue, the cultivation. Then invoke power of merits for causes and to turn around. Understand? Number 2 step, no need already. Because you, as a Kayamita, you already have the cultivation. You have enough merits, wholesomeness. So you can invoke the 3rd one. Understand? Then do what you have to do. Then causes and condition will fall into place. Then you no need to decide, hey, must operate, must do this, must do that. No need. Understand? So all this is understanding. When you understand, when you have faith, you take care of karma, karma will take care of you. You will not end up with those type of specialists that want your money on. Well, in the past, you do that, you con people, you deceive people out of money, out of greed, you act. Then now you become the victim. You will entangle with those type of specialists and doctors. Understand? I mean, pardon me for saying that because they are professionals. They're supposed to have ethics. But there are also black sheep in every profession. So this understanding is very important. I think I have to end. Exceeded by 5 minutes already. Okay, so I just summarize. Choice is delusion. But don't get me wrong. Certain thing in life, you have to make a decision based on your understanding. Understand? When you make that choice, which normal worldly people still say is a choice, is your decision based on your understanding. Understand? So the decision which you make is not a choice you choose through delusion. Understand? Where you act according to wisdom, the Dhamma way. So that is the decision you make. And that is, of course, in the worldly sense, you choose to act that way. Understand? So you call that choice. To me, that is not choice. Well, I make the decision not by like what you call mini, more. No, I don't do that. I base the decision on my understanding, then I act. So I act with understanding. I don't go and think and worry and make a choice. Understand? Then it's like understand? I don't know which is right, which is wrong. Buy or not to buy, go or not to go. Understand? Because in life, a lot of situations, living beings are caught in choice. Understand? But when you have the Dhamma, the understanding, there is no choice. That's why I say spiritual trip when I travel. We may have a program. We may decide what to do and all things. But as I go there, causes and condition different, I change. Understand now? I accord and flow based on understanding. So I don't make choice. You can see that point. That point is very difficult to break free. Your living being always say, what? How can I don't make a choice in life? I have to choose. Choose who to marry. Understand? Who to be with. Understand? Choose to come for the Dhamma talk or not to come. You think it's a choice? When you have the understanding and the faith, you come because of the understanding and the faith. It's not a choice. Understand? You understand? Choice means you not sure. You try to choose. Like I say, mini money, mini more. Draw a lot or whatever. So all those things is actually not a choice that you decide. Like last time I told you whether to be an engineer or doctor because of my father, he wanted me to be a doctor. I said to be fair to him, I draw a lot. Understand? I let nature decide. Then when I draw, actually the probability are impossible. All the four I took out, all engineering now, maths. Normally to get, I put 4, engineering and medicine, 4. Actually 8. Then I draw 4 times. I don't know, throw all inside. Normally it's ding dong, engineering is all 4 come out. Every time I take out engineering, put back, so take out again, engineering again, put back, take out again, engineering. 4 times all engineering. That probability I remember I work out very, very, very low probability of this type of happening. Means 1 in don't know how many 100,000. And yet, it show it to you now. Then I straight away tell myself, no need to decide already, because it's so clear cut. The nature show it to me. And I tell my dad, I said, I know you want me to be a doctor, but I'm destined to be an engineer. I said, that's why my father very good. He said, never mind, whatever you take, he said, engineering also good, he said. Medicine also good, he said. Whatever you like, you choose. So that's how it happened. Okay, we better end. Let us rejoice. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, we share merits. Late already. Akasata cha Bhumata Deva Naga Mahindika Punyang Tang Anumoditwa Cirang Rakantu Loka Sasana Etta Wata Jamehi Sampadan Punya Sampadan Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sabba Sampati Siddhya Idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang menya tinang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Dewa satu kalena sasa sampati hetu ca. Vito bhavatu loko ca. Raja bhavatu dhammiko imina punyang kamena mame bala samagamo satang samagamo hotu yawa nivana patiya sadhu sadhu sadhu. Okay, you all can now pay respect mindfully to the Lord Buddha, Guanyin Bodhisattva, and all the great beings, the worthy ones. Then we will end the whole session. Thank you. Sadhu.